Hey, love, before we dive in, I want you to know that if today feels heavy, you're overwhelmed, maybe touched out, or just tired of all the noise, you're not alone. In this episode, I am not making it tidy or scripted because the truth is, both of us know that neither is motherhood. It's messy, it's emotional, and at the end, it's all heart. And we're talking rainy season, scary thoughts, and what it means to really show up anyways, even when you don't feel like you're doing it well. So take a deep breath with me. Grab your cup of coffee or your cup of tea or whatever is keeping you grounded, and let's paddle forward together. Welcome to Paddle Forward, Navigating Life's Currents, this unfiltered space where real life meets radical self-trust. I'm Anacani Walters, mama, sub-instructor, yoga teacher, burnout survivor, and nurse turned entrepreneur. Here we talk about it all: motherhood and identity, body image and self-love, fear and healing, business and burnout, holistic wellness, and the beauty of starting over. This is where I bring all of me and invite you to do the same. So grab your board, take a deep breath, your metaphorical paddle, and let's paddle forward together. So it's been truly one of those weeks where I felt like I'm holding 20 tabs open, not on my computer, in my brain, and they're all just glitching. So my toddler is on spring break from daycare. And remember, I'm in Japan as recording this. And so they follow a little bit of a different schedule. And even though it's daycare, Japanese is very educated forward. And so his daycare is truly like preschool. I've been juggling disrupted routines, unpredicted weather, and just a lot of mama, watch this. Mama, mama, mama. I'm in that mama, 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 mom phase. And let me tell you, whew, it's taken me a whole lot of another level to just smile each time and be present. And meanwhile, through all of this, I'm still trying to keep multiple projects afloat. I'm still showing up for my clients. I'm showing up for my classes. And somewhere in there, I'm still trying to remember when to drink my water and eat something, trying to fit in my yoga practices, and if nothing else, drink some magnesium to just keep it all together. And I came into my baby and me yoga class this week really being to hold some space, to be motivational, to be inspiring. And instead, I literally just felt like I was dodging my almost 3-year-old, trying not to trip over my overwhelm of anxiety from him being in the same room with 10 infants from 3 weeks old to almost 1, and just riddled literally with anxiety the whole time. So by the time I had planned this amazing ending, it was supposed to be gentle and heart-centered and wrapped in love and about grace and how we're too hard on ourselves and how scary thoughts don't make us bad moms and that they make us human. And what really came out was basically a hot mess. It was not perfect. It was not polished like I had rehearsed, but I have to say that it just came out hopefully human. And that's what I want to talk about, because there's this quiet pressure that says we should already know how to parent, and that if we're struggling, it means that something's wrong with us, that we don't know what we're doing and we're not good parents. And in my baby and me yoga class, I try to end the class, and this is how I really went into this supposedly graceful moment for myself. I asked everyone, did anyone move to Japan already speaking fluent Japanese? And of course, most people just gave me this weird look. They nodded no. And then I added, why would you move to another country if you didn't know the language? And it was supposed to come off as funny and just playful. And I don't think that it came out that way. I was supposed to make it like be jokingly, well, why would you move here if you didn't know the language? That's so irresponsible. And I was trying to make like this analogy, but when I walked away from that class, I was like, oh my God, they probably think I'm like such an a-hole. And the truth is that I was trying to say that no one expects you to speak a new language fluently without learning it, especially when you're in the military and you're forced to move overseas. But in the same perspective, why do we expect ourselves or each other to instinctively know how to care for a baby? Like, it's not something that is a secret. We don't know how to take care of a human. It's not something that is just like inherent in most of us. We learn by learning, by doing, through trial, through mistakes, through tears, and through tantrums. It's not intuitive for most of us. It is a skill. Parenting is a skill. It's an ongoing unraveling, becoming of ourselves as parents. And it's a roller coaster, y'all. It is hard, but the great thing is, the way I see it, I love to listen to Dr. Becky, and she's like, it's okay to be angry, to be like, oh my God, why did they let me birth a human without knowing what I was doing? And be angry that we didn't get better education, we didn't get better support. And to understand that anger is actually not a bad emotion. And we talk about emotions more in our Toddler in Me yoga because I want to make sure that toddlers and parents who are in that mindful parenting learning space too, that a lot of the things that we experience with toddlers in their terrific twos and beautiful threes is that it's mostly that they can't communicate well with us, big emotions that they're having. And I feel like we also have the same problem as adults if we weren't raised in a household where emotions were something that were embraced or they weren't labeled as something negative. And I definitely was not raised in a mindful parenting household. And so we're learning that we need to teach our children beyond the happy, sad, angry, excited, basic emotions that society just has us really focus on. There's so many more emotions. Like I have this huge poster that I haven't even introduced, but there's like anxious and scared and nervous and worried. And all of them can have different responses from us as parents. And as adults, like we as an adult, sometimes I was so bad about expressing how I was feeling. I just would be in these spaces where I wanted to talk to somebody about like what was going on, but I would immediately shut down. And it was like my own mind and body's defense. And I would just start to cry uncontrollably. And then I would get angry that I was even crying, like I was almost embarrassed. And then I would get angry and I would go through all these emotions, but I would be dead silent to the person that I was trying to communicate. And they, poor them, had no idea what the heck I was doing. But I had no like training, no experience talking about my emotions. And so I try to remind myself about that as an adult, that these aren't things that I even were exposed to or taught or given the chance to practice how to talk about emotions as a child. So now as an adult, I am like getting the second chance, I guess, in a way of experiencing all of that because I'm having to learn how to teach my own child to develop these. We don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about how hard parenting is. We don't talk about how hard motherhood is. I'm a big advocate for matrescence and educating people on matrescence because it is so empowering to learn about matrescence and what it really is and how it explains so many things that happen to a lot of people, but we don't talk about them because we assume that it's something that's wrong with us, or in societal's terms, it's taboo to talk about. And when we don't talk about the learning curve, then we internalize the chaos. And that was my problem growing up. I had no way of understanding how to properly express myself. So I internalized everything until I burned myself out in business, in life, in nursing, and my body shut down. It eventually followed the lead. And we think maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe, other moms don't feel this overwhelmed because I'm just not doing it right. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And we are so incredibly hard on ourselves. And I think it even carries into other things in life when we're not good at something. And it's like, we're not going to be necessarily 100% good at everything. We are humans. Now, I am a true believer that anything that you want to do, you can do, but it's going to take practice. You're not going to be perfect. It's not going to be something that necessarily everyone's going to just have some beautiful gift. A lot of the people that you see that you admire, that you think, oh my gosh, they're just gifted in this one thing. No, it's most likely that they started from scratch, they sucked, and now they're awesome, but you don't see the hard work that's behind those stories. All we see is what society and what social media now is highlighting, all the highlight reels, but we don't see what work and crying and tears and sweat have gone into those highlight reels to become highlights. And so moving forward beyond that, I've really felt embarrassing, and I don't know. I'm like, well, it's too late. I said what I said, and I hope that it was accepted well. But in reality, it was like, Anacani, you are human. You have to give yourself grace. I'm pretty sure that you're overanalyzing it, overthinking. And these mamas and parents that come to your class, they know you enough by now to know that you would never mean something like that. In a serious way. They pretty much probably understood that it was meant to be sarcastic. And so, needless to say, I definitely, by the time I finished my toddler and me yoga class, y'all, oh yeah, I was done. So moving into that, I want to just talk to you about the scary thoughts, those intrusive ones, the what ifs, the I can't do this moments that truly make us feel like we're spiraling out of control. Why did I just imagine that? These thoughts that make your stomach just drop, and it's like that roller coaster down ride. And I want to just remind you that you're not broken, you're not dangerous, you're not failing, you're likely just navigating the messy waves of matrescence. There's this huge identity shift that happens when we become parents, and then we don't talk about things. Society doesn't talk about these things, and then we're left with something is wrong with us, when reality is that it's not. Nothing is necessarily wrong with you. Now, there are some times when you might be feeling scary thoughts, and usually the scarier the thoughts, the more scarier we tend to feel about what we're thinking. When we're in spaces, usually we're like, I'm not telling anybody any of the things that I am thinking out loud, because what would they think of me? And for some, I'm a true advocate of just, if you need to get professional help, there's also no shame in asking for help. And I don't think we talk about postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, which are all common. I think for some people, to a certain degree, we all kind of experience some set of those. And for most, we bounce back, or we get past it and through it. But for some people, they need a little bit more help. And it's okay to acknowledge that you are one of those that might need more help and get professional help. I suffered from massive postpartum anxiety, something that I did not prepare for, because I didn't even really know that it was a thing. And so just know that you're not alone. And most of us think that we're the only ones, but we're not. I promise you. We just don't talk about it enough. We prep for breastfeeding, we prep for our birth, we might be thinking about how we're going to handle nap schedules, but no one gives us any type of an emotional roadmap of what to expect postpartum. And that's really what I'm hoping this episode can really just bring as like a breath of fresh air or some truth in this season that feels like it is so much. And as I go into like so much, I want to talk about rainy season here in Okinawa because my job is to really support parents. And if you're in a tropical space, well, you might be in the same kind of era where you might be dealing where there's a large period of times where it's going to be raining. And so here in Okinawa, rainy season brings on a lot of other things other than just the fact that we get confined into our own homes, where it makes it really hard to basically leave our houses, in the sense that we deal with humidity. The walls start to get damped, and the fact that we have less sun, it interferes with our serotonin level. It tends to be a little bit lower than it usually is. Everything smells like mildew. We have a hard time opening the windows because it's raining outside and it's humid at the same time. Babies might be starting to refuse naps. We're stuck indoors. The toddlers are jumping all over the place. They just want to go outside and start jumping into puddles. We're starting to feel overstimulated, overtouched, over sensory overload. We're starting to feel uninspired, and in the middle of all of those emotions and feelings, we are surrounded by chaos. The house is a mess. It never stays clean because you're in there 24/7, and you're never going to get that break where you have that window where you can pick up toys, clean the house, and then leave so that it stays clean for a little bit. Nope, it's going to stay like that. And it's not just about the weather, it's really about our nervous system and it just feeling the overload. We're going to start to have the effect of the sunlight being less and affecting our moods, and seeing our house in a mess can also affect our mind. And suddenly everything becomes really hard and we start to have mom guilt. Why can't we keep our house clean? And it's just really hard. And so I've made something for you, something that's really gentle, it's grounding, it's real and hopefully helpful. And it's this rainy season survival guide that I've created to help validate some emotions on those days that you don't really feel great. You feel like blah. Some ideas to maybe start looking at Pinterest for ideas for, or asking other moms that you know that may be ahead of you in terms of age with children. Some play ideas, some sensory ideas for especially if you're in that toddler phase. Some ideas on how to regulate and release some stress for your own nervous system, and things that can literally take under 2 minutes to do. Some rainy day affirmations, if affirmations is your thing, and then some truth talk reminders that mold and meltdowns are truly not your fault, that you are doing the best that you can. And so you can download it from the link in the show notes if you're interested. And yeah, as I just want to make this short and sweet, again, I just wanted to at least show up for you guys. I know I've been a little bit MIA, but at the same time, my life has just been a little bit on the chaotic side. And I wanted you to hear it from me personally, to know that you don't need to have it all together, that you don't have to be a perfect parent. I'm starting to realize that perfection is overrated. We don't need to pretend that the scary thoughts aren't happening. We need support. We need an ability to find a community or even one single person that you can truly trust in for truth telling, to talk to them about what you're having, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, without any judgment. And you need some grace, especially for yourself. So, as we end today's episode, if this brought up a whole lot of emotions, I want you to just take a second, close your eyes, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, take a nice deep breath into your belly first, then your ribs, then that last little breath into your chest. And then as you exhale from your chest, your ribs, and your stomach, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Take a nice deep inhale once more, and maybe on this side, open mouth exhale, letting all of that tension, all of that weight that you've been carrying from your mind and from your body. And that's our rhythm. That's where we want to stay. That's where we want to always come back to in the midst of the chaos. You can always find peace in chaos. And if this episode has resonated with you, please share it with a friend or tag a fellow parent who's walking through the storm with you from afar. Message me. I'm happy to be your vent. You can cry virtually on my shoulder. I can help you with a deep breath, a guided meditation, and know that I am building a community for you. You are doing so much, my love. You are so enough, and you are not alone. You are doing the best that you can, and that is always enough. Until next time, remember that you have the power to steer your own course, and I want you to keep paddling forward. And that's a wrap, beautiful. Thanks for paddling through this episode with me. If today's conversation moves something in you, share it. Tag me at Anacani Walters or drop a review to help this ripple reach more hearts. Remember, healing isn't linear, wellness isn't one size fits all, and you don't have to navigate any one of it alone. Keep breathing, keep trusting, and no matter what wave you're riding, keep paddling forward. I'll meet you here next time.